It's really important to remember during the dark night of the soul, and this is actually my experience of it. This isn't just some made up la-di-da stuff. That life loves you so much that your higher mind gives you pain, the pain that you feel during the dark night of the soul, so that you can investigate how it is that you are defining yourself. And usually you'll find within that pain a negative definition that you've given to yourself, or an experience, and within that yourself. So I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into that today because it's important to me, and if you're in the dark night of the soul, it will become, if not already, very important to you very, very quickly if you really wish to take yourself out of the pain and into the bliss and ecstasy that really we're meant to be feeling all the time, but that we don't because we define ourselves negatively. Hear me out. What do I mean by a negative definition of self? For example, usually the reason we're in the dark night of the soul, at least my experience of it, was because there's a core wound within you. My one was this belief, and they are always usually beliefs, well, it can't be anything else, but the reason for me that I was stuck in there, in the dark night of the soul, was because of this core belief that I wasn't good enough. Now that will likely resonate with you, because it does with everyone, and it's usually the core belief of humanity. Even if you're a narcissist. Fucked up, right? Anyway. That core belief, I'm not good enough, is not actually what I want to talk about today. On my channel, I'm kind of creating like a spiritual toolkit to try and help people, at least the things that help me, pull them out of certain situations that can be very painful. And my compassion for you is there because I've been there, I know what it's like, it's horrible. But you need to empower yourself in order to take it out. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that core belief because there's a video on my channel about that. Today, I'm going to talk about other ones that surround it. Our ego can make us believe that our only issue is the core belief, I'm not good enough, and that all of our issues stem from that. And whilst that is a little bit true, we then miss the outer ring of beliefs that are affecting us and are impacting us hugely too. But our ego only wants us to put our attention on this I'm not good enough one because one, it's easy for us, it's already done, we already know it. And two, so that we don't then notice the other ones, and the ego buys more time before its destruction. But I'm not having that, and neither are you, that's why you're here. So we are going to accelerate the ego's destruction. I hope we can use terms like this, because I know they're not fundamentally true, but nonetheless, we're going to use it that way. These negative definitions that we're surrounding our I'm not good enough belief, that do stem from the I'm not good enough belief, are causing us pain too. Now obviously we know that that's only because our higher mind is telling us this is not natural to you, you might want to have a look at this and change it, which we can do. For example, just to put some more flesh on this on the bones for this one, for me, I didn't share on YouTube for a long time. I kept getting signs and signals to share my message on YouTube because obviously it helped me, and in that we're all one, it will help other people too tremendously. But the reason I kept putting it off was because I had a negative definition of getting vulnerable. Because, now hear me out, the reason for this was, in my past, whenever I used to get vulnerable with people, I would be bullied or taken advantage for it, or made to feel less than, or made to feel not good enough, there's our core wound again, for expressing things that people didn't find appropriate or maybe couldn't deal with themselves, and there was a recognition in that somewhat. But anyway, whenever I got vulnerable, it was my experience that something would then go wrong and it would cause me pain. So, As we increase our awareness in the spiritual journey, these are almost unlocked for us. It becomes very clear to us what our negative limiting beliefs are surrounding our core I'm not worthy belief. And this one popped up for me. Now it helps if you're doing other work too. For example, on my other video, there's a couple now, about the dark night of the soul and how to get out of it. I mentioned that it's very important to, once you see this negative belief come up, it's important to feel it, feel the pain of it, watch that pain, acknowledge it. Don't run away from it, because if we're running away from it, it's not going to work. It's not going to help anybody. Feel that pain. Okay, ask yourself, what is it that I must still believe about myself to be true in this moment to make me feel this way? And usually, the I'm not good enough one is there because the slippery ego, that will usually be the one that comes up because the ego doesn't want to let down all of its defences. Now we know most of the time, just focusing on that I'm not good enough wound, yes it helps to a degree, but then our lives are still in disarray really, because there are smaller little bits around it that our ego doesn't want us to look at. So it's very important that we maybe perhaps don't necessarily take that one to be true at first. Although it is, we can then ask ourselves, well, what other things must there be that I am defining negatively within myself? For me, this vulnerability one popped up. It's interesting. What you might want to do, what really helped me, was to get a notepad or something and just sit and meditate with your thoughts, and anything that causes pain within you or anything that doesn't feel natural to you will likely be something that you're tolerating that you probably shouldn't be. Like this. Here's a perspective we can look at it from. If there's an area of your life that isn't working out in ways that you think it should, and you have ascribed the blame for why that's not working out onto life or onto the dark night of the soul or onto the universe, these are the sort of things that we should be looking at a little bit deeper. Now I'm not blaming you for this, but in my experience, it is these areas where we're not really a fully fledged human being anymore, but we'd like to be, but we've kind of given up on in that area. These are the areas we should be looking at. And don't be afraid to look there. Don't be afraid to look there. It can feel quite scary to look at those areas because they're quite delicate wounds within us. But these are the areas that the ego is hiding with this core I'm not good enough belief. Now you understand. Now we're beginning to understand what we're really looking for here. These areas that we're scared to look at, or the areas that we've sort of blamed on life, and then this is life is the reason why these areas aren't working for me. And then we've just kind of gone in on ourselves and retreated inside and been like, "Nyeh." These areas we can free up. This is the perfect opportunity. This is the love that life is giving to you. It's saying, look, you're not a fully fledged human being here yet. There's a little bit of pain. You've got to do a bit of work within yourself, but here's a little bit of pain so that we can deal with this issue here. These, I don't want to call them issues because there's nothing wrong with you, but these areas here that will make you be a more integrated version of yourself. And in that, then, pulls you out of the dark night of the soul. So whilst it feels like there's a lot of work to be done, don't be afraid, because this can be all done very, very quickly. Sit down with a notepad and have a look at some of these areas and see what comes up. It will usually take you, some of these areas, to a point in your past. You'll see some reoccurring issues that have come up through the past that keep coming up, that usually started with one very aggressive experience in your life that really hurt you. But there'll be a few where these definitions stem from, or there might just be one position. But we don't really need to go back into our pasts to deal with this. It just adds a little bit of flesh to it. You can do. It can help to know where these karmic loops, these karmic cycles keep coming from, because they're going to keep coming up until we change the definition that's behind them, the negative definition that we've ascribed to them. I'm going to get really vulnerable now. I have had women troubles all my life because in a few experiences that I had, it was in the getting vulnerable to women that I am then in that moment not good enough for them. Should I be sharing this stuff? It's gonna help. It's coming out anyway. When I used to get vulnerable to women, it then scared them off. I don't know why. It seems to have been a theme that I came in to explore. I'm quite a sensitive male. I don't know if you can tell. I don't mean like... I don't know what I mean. Anyway, this is a theme... I can't believe I'm telling you this. This is going on the internet. Oh God, it's authentic though, it's real. Whenever I used to get vulnerable to women, that seemed to be it. And that caused me to define me getting vulnerable very, very negatively. So I stopped. I didn't get vulnerable to anyone, and I built up this persona around it, like a 7-story building, like around it, so that nobody could see that part of me, so that I didn't have to get vulnerable again, because I described the pain that I felt from women sort of rejecting me, but not really. By me getting vulnerable, I described that pain to me getting vulnerable to women. So I defined vulnerability negatively. Now I've since changed that. Thank God. And so, I'm here sharing now because I no longer have a negative definition of vulnerability. But what it took for me to do that was to actually take some time with a notepad and paper and go back through my past and see what it was that caused that. But even that is not necessary really, but it probably would be quite nice to do it. As my awareness increased, it became very, very obvious to me that that was exactly what was happening. So I was looking at this pain. Well, this was the way it was in old Jamie's head, why do women cause me so much pain? That was where I started. And obviously that opened up a can of worms. But also, whenever the pain arised, it's almost like feeling the pain is almost like a portal. An interdimensional portal where it has all of the answers for you. It's just whether you are firstly ready to hear the answer, truthfully. Secondly, are you looking in the right place for the answer, or is your ego taking you off in different directions so that you don't actually see the really, really painful bit, the bit that's actually really going to cure you and drag you out of the dark night of the soul. So feel the pain. That pain is your portal into all of the answers of the universe. Really, feel it. Acknowledge it. The belief will come up. Oh, I'm defining vulnerability negatively. Or get creative. Poof, pain's there. Feel it. Well, what is it that I must be believing about myself to be true in this moment? I'm not good enough, fine, but why specifically women? Whenever I think of women, why is there pain there? Oh, okay, I'm defining vulnerability negatively. And you'll notice these things causing havoc in the rest of your life too. Here's an indication that you're onto the right thing, and you'll start seeing, oh, that vulnerability thing, or whatever it is for you, stems like a tree, like a brainstorm shooting off into so many directions in my life that's literally causing me all of my pain. Not just my internal pain, but my unconscious pain that I reflect out into the world and then gets reflected back to me. This is a long episode, I know, but it's so important, so important. So, I've now garnered the information that I need. Here is one of my negative definitions that's causing me a lot of pain. Stemming from I'm not good enough, yes. But here we go. we can now do the dirty work. Feel that pain? Oh. All right, we know the definition. So, once the pain is felt, and you've relaxed back into your awareness consciousness, your being, you can then pick a new definition. Firstly, you can say, well, how would I feel if I didn't have that negative definition? For example, when I used to walk into, it got this bad, when I used to walk into shops or walk around High Street or whatever, I'd look at women and then straight away, as soon as they looked back at me, I'd straight away ascribe that pain to them straight away before anything had ever happened. My pain body instantly went there. Women are my pain, women are my issue, this is my issue, here's the pain, bam! That's literally how bad it got. So what we can start doing then, if we know what's causing the pain, and we know externally where this pain is coming from, even though it's not, you've created it all, we can then begin to start choosing more positive perspectives to ascribe to that. All right, let's say I'm out in the street, and you can use this too, for whatever your definition is. This is just one, there's loads and loads and loads we can have a look at, but for now, I'm out in the street, woman looks at me, I look back. I think she's attracted to me. Bam, the pain's there. All right, okay, fine. We don't have to be hard on ourselves. Feel the pain. Don't have to be like, oh, God, why is this here again? No. Feel it. Ooh, all right. Well, I've caught this pain in its early stages. Next time, can I catch it earlier? Could I perhaps get in front of that pain? Before that pain comes in, couldn't I pick a more positive thing? Like, I bet that woman likes me. Something like that? Because these are the ways that we start to change these limiting definitions around whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that that's put you into this dark night of the soul, whatever it is that you define about yourself that's not good enough. We're shining our spiritual spotlight now. So can we get in front of the pain before the pain comes? And you can do this. This isn't just bullshit. This is possible. Bam. See the external circumstance that causes your pain. Oof. You know that the pain's coming, so before the pain comes, you've just got ahead of it. You don't have to feel the pain anymore. All right, okay. I've kind of blanked out the pain. Let's pick now something more positive that I wish to believe about myself. I'm really attractive. Or, I bet that girl likes me. Or, I'm awesome. And then from there, the more and more we do that, actually the feeling of the definition that you've just said, the feeling of what you've just said about yourself, the belief about yourself, will be there. And then we become more of a blissful, normal, human, not normal, I didn't mean it like that, you know what I mean. A more blissful version of ourselves, a better version of ourselves, because now the external circumstance can still play out, and the pain won't be there anymore. Instead, we've trained our mind to give us a positive feeling. And then bam, we're back to the way that we used to be before we got all messed up. It's an amazing tool. Changing and weeding out all of these little negative definitions. To be really positive with it, every time the pain comes in, we can take the knowledge that our higher mind is trying to heal us. There's the pain. Thank you. You love me so much. To show me where I am defining myself, or where I'm defining things, external circumstances, negatively, and that are causing me pain every time. You want me to grow. Thank you so much. Thanks for this. Let me investigate it. Let me get creative and find out, yes, all right, there's the not good enough, that's the core wound there, but where else am I not looking? What's my ego trying to hide away from me? And it's usually those spots in your life that you've sort of not really taken responsibility for yet, and have kind of just gone, oh, well, I don't really need that. I can do without that. Well, why? You actually can have all of these things. You just need to change your definitions. And it's scary, and it's hard. I get that. But it's actually scarier and harder to go a whole life with all of these unconscious pains playing out in front of you and you getting a barrage of like punches throughout your whole life. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. Take the pain that your higher mind is giving you, feel it, thank it. Oh my God, thank you. You are my saviour. You're saving me from a whole life of unconscious shit, because it ain't going to get easier. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse until you deal with it. So here's your spiritual toolkit. There's more things on my channel if you want to jump on there with me. I would love to have you there. If not, that's cool, because this is quite a topic to dive into. So it might take some time to really fish around and have a look. But you are so empowered that you can disempower yourselves with these things. So why not empower yourself in the right way? In the way that feels good to you? And this, what I've just taught you, will help you do that. I love you. That was powerful. Take it on board if you will. You don't have to. I mean, you can keep living your old way, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's cool. If it serves you right now, that's awesome. You don't have to take on anything I say. I just put it out there because I know that it helped me, and it changed my life completely, so that we can all get on with our spiritual journeys. Or actually, if that's not what you want to do, you can actually just get on with your life in a more positive way. Yeah. It's like somebody said to me, you can't force somebody to heal, but you offer the healing frequency, and then it's up to them to take it or not. This is like that. I'm not forcing anything on anyone, of course. You don't have to take some crazy guy on the internet's advice. But here's my advice anyway, and if you want it, use it. Watch it change your life. If you don't want it, I was about to say give me a thumbs down. Please don't do that. But yeah, you can if you want. Because I know it works. So, there we go. Namaste, wonderful people, and good luck. Have fun with this. Have fun rooting around and finding these things, because as soon as you find them, watch your energy body just go, oh my God, I've just struck gold. Oh my God, now I can change it. Oh my God, now I'm going to jump out of this crazy hell that I've created for myself. But remember, it's about taking responsibility for these issues that you've created for yourself. Tough line, but true. So, enjoy. And it can be a very, very quick and blissful experience. Peace.